I'm not allowed to say it. Good evening, perverts and paedophiles. Mike, Mike was. It's just the alliteration I liked. How is everybody?
Living the dream, mate. How are you?
I'll be fine until I get all those comments.
Yeah, I'm good too, thank you.
Absolutely fantastic, thank you.
Well, it's one where I think we need as many people's thoughts as possible, because Bruce is quite right. We could have played last week's show, and I don't think people would have noticed much of a difference, apart from this one be slightly more negative, I would imagine. We can talk about Reach PLC, and that's about it.
It was a very 2022, 23, that's right, 23, 24 performance yesterday, wasn't it? It was, yeah. But we'll talk about the football after you do the intro.
Bruce, we have the idle chit chat at the start, then we have the football talk, and then we have the bollocks for the last 10 minutes where we just kind of fill space.
It's the
I think most of it's bollocks, isn't it?
Most of it's filler.
Most of it's filler. What do your skirting board's doing again?
I've been busy today. I'm knackered. This is the most relaxing thing I've done all day. We've been well, no, actually, that's not strictly true. I did eat half of a cow at dinner time, but we've been busy. Been doing Maisie's bedroom. It's been, when you start them little jobs at home, or generally the other half says we're going to do. I think we should. I'm going to do this, and before you've had a chance to say no or react or anything like that, it started, and quite quickly it goes beyond the point of no return. Can anyone else relate to that sort of thing at home?
Yeah, we. Shall I tell you what we did? We did the. Didn't I put the picture in the group, or did I just send it to Hannah? I'll send it. But I did like a gallery wall on the side on Saturday, and it took far too long. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, we've not seen that, mate.
Yeah, we've not seen that. You give all that to Hannah. Yeah.
Well, if you want to see the interior decorating stuff, let me know.
Claire started off by just saying that she wanted to take a shelf out in Maisie's bedroom, and there's like 4 shelves in an alcove. So she goes in there, and you should have seen the state of the wall after she'd taken some of the roll plugs out. It was just like, I don't want to. No, I was going to make a joke about war then, and that probably wouldn't have been very good. But
you might as well, mate.
When you see these bomb blasted buildings, well, that's what Maisie's wall looked like. And so completely then we had to get the filler out, and there was half the side of the house missing, and we had to get the filler out, and then you've got to. Oh, and then we painted the feature wall, which was where she was going with it. She wanted to take a shelf out and paint the feature. Oh, the other walls look a bit grubby, don't they? Next thing you know, Sunday morning, 8:30, on a chair with a roller, living the dream. And so actually, I've been quite looking forward to the pod today, to actually sit down for an hour and just chat shit.
The way you described that house reminds me of an house I used to live in Rotherham, mate. But that was how it's meant to be.
That's a bit vague, mate. That's a bit vague. You're gonna have to give the address, mate.
It's all the houses in Rotherham, mate. I don't think you need to specify.
Palmerston Avenue, Maltby.
I've got a Google Maps
named
now.
after a Prime Minister. That's what I did. I just stuck it in the chat.
What, my address?
No, the WhatsApp.
Again.
Sam's taking his picture off to try and look at your picture.
Nah, it's because
he's like 20 odd year old, isn't he? And he's like you've got your dad with technology, isn't he?
No.
Oh, somebody sent me a message. I've got to click on it. I can't wait.
Hang on. I've muted my camera's off. Hang on. Oh.
It's because I'm on my phone, lads, and I can't. And it
you see me?
And it automatically disables your phone. That's fantastic.
That's what I did. It took far
Whose house
too
is
long.
that?
That's mine. It took far too long to do. Yeah.
That's never in a part of the house you're allowed in.
They're not straight.
Don't start. Do not start.
Was it meant to be like that?
There must be a little bit. Go on, Sam. Sorry.
There must be a reason you have to do the podcast from basically under the stairs, isn't it? Like Harry Potter.
Yeah, this is where I'm allowed to have everything. It is an absolute shithole. Like,
yeah, I will tell you that the pictures behind you have bugged me for months because you can't see them. They're a bit out of line. You're muted, mate. That's why I carried on talking.
I think it's the camera. I think the camera makes it distorted.
What, it makes the room look smaller than it actually is.
Yeah, and that's what I'm. Yeah,
that's my excuse. I've been using it for years, and I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I want you to get Charlie in there one day, and then we'll see how big the room is. When there's two of you in there, that's what we want to say. Yeah, this is the space. Hang on, son. Let me get out while you get in. Hang on.
Are we on?
Yeah, we have been 5.5 minutes, mate.
Yeah, when I called everyone a paedophile.
All right, yeah.
You didn't have to do it again, though, did you? Bloody hell!
I didn't suggest anybody in particular.
All right, Mark Austin.
I'm just asking questions.
Do we normally do the hellos before or after the credits? You'll have to.
I don't know.
I haven't been doing this very long because you normally flag up the. Go on, sorry.
You're never here after the credits. We roll the end of the show and you piss off and everybody else has a chat.
No, sorry, I'm at the opening credits. Thank you.
All right, okay.
Because he normally flashes up the stuff, doesn't he? Like, hello so and so and hello.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was too busy.
Yeah, there's no one. There's no one there today.
Nobody. They've all moved over to the other pod, and rightly so. Oh, here he is. Right, here you go, Bruce. Come in here. They want to see how big the room is. There you go.
Hi, Charlie.
Say hello.
It's full. It's definitely full.
What you don't know is Charlie's 6'8".
Is that as far as he can get into the room?
Say hello to everyone.
Hello. Ask him if he enjoyed Trent's equaliser yesterday. See what he says to that.
Did you enjoy the equaliser for Liverpool yesterday?
Yeah.
He doesn't know. He's given up on it. It's fine.
I don't know.
It's absolutely fine.
He's had to leave the room because he was struggling for breath. That's why he's had to go.
Later.
I wasn't joking when I said Harry Potter,
We've got. Sorry, I got a cough. Stephen says, "Evening all, not been on X today. Anything interesting being written? No." Grimbo says, "Nathan Rooney appointment pending. DN35 ending, or what? Ending for me. Yeah." Jono says, "Hi, go on, lads. Oi oi." Steve Tapper says the ladies' team are doing really well. They really are. Ollie says, yes, I remember when the Taliban ruined a building by taking all the wall plugs out.
They've actually, aren't they? I learned this in my 40s that they're not wall plugs, are they? They're roll plugs. Is that right?
So this is an argument we genuinely have in my house. Leanne calls them wall plugs. I call them
WRAL. They're not wall plugs. They're roll plugs. I'm told. I'm not a DIY.
Roll. Okay, so roll. I think I like the brand name. It's like calling it sellotape.
Oh no! So they are wall plugs.
Yeah, and they're wall plugs as well.
Google's your friend.
Andrew. Hi, John. Evening, Lewis. Is it true Art was meant to turn up at Cheapside on Friday and didn't turn up? I don't know, Lewis. We can get into the weeds of it later if you want. David Arnold says
no one's got a Scooby. What's going on?
Dave, when are the club naming the new manager? Are you asking Dave? Are you putting that your name is Dave, David, or are you asking someone called Dave? If so, if anyone is called Dave, can you answer Dave's request? When are the club naming the manager?
That's going to be confusing when Dave Artell turns up, isn't it?
Yeah. Daniel Lewis says, evening chaps. Nigel Holmes says, Sunday night chat shit. Absolutely. When did we not? That's basically it. We're half of a Jamie Vardy tagline.
It's the most sense anybody will have heard today, to be fair. They've been on social media.
I'll tell you something. It's fucking better than half of the bloody questions asked at the fans forum. Jesus Christ. We've all got... Yeah, Jesus Christ. Those questions. Did they not get vetted?
We might have won yesterday if we'd have played the 16-year-olds.
Obviously not, given most of mine didn't make it through the... Obviously you get best, obviously, because apparently most of mine didn't make it through the process.
I saw your question. It was like, dear Jason, my question is in 14 parts. It's about why you sacked Paul Hurst.
It wasn't. It was a lot more detailed than that, and it wasn't why they sacked Paul Hurst. It was about why they... What was so appalling
why they broke my heart.
About the Wrexham performance, which was 6 weeks prior to. This is a different question from what they were doing for 6 weeks. We had banged on about incessantly. What was it about the Wrexham performance that made them think maybe something isn't quite working here? Given the previous week we dismantled Bradford in the first half.
They did answer the question.
Yeah, that was what I was asking about. My other 5 didn't get through.
I don't know who Spencer
I can't imagine why.
Look, not all of them were vested around one subject. There are at least 2 that were other issues.
Why do we?
I actually
Shall
thought
we start?
the forum. I actually thought the forum was pretty pretty reasonable. I've watched quite a few over the years, and I've been to some. And
I mean, that's a low bar, Bruce. Jesus,
it was
Christ.
a solid. It was a. I hope it was best than the. I hope it was better than the bloody bully. The one where they basically bullied Matt Dean. It can't get much worse than that.
No, I thought it was all right. I mean, there were some shit questions, and there were some people that asked some shit questions, and then when they'd been answered, carried on asking them more shit about their shit questions. But
are you referring specifically to the one about the bring young lads on for the last 15 minutes of a game?
No, I wouldn't mention that one. You mean where he told him that he didn't think that they could play 16-year-olds, and so he said, "Well, what about 17-year-olds?" And I thought, "Oh, freaking hell, this is going to be a long fucking night. This is."
What about 17-and-a-half-year-olds?
Yeah. Well, how about it again?
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got a penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight like that.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the DN35 podcast. For those of you who have downloaded, hello, I hope you're having a lovely day. And for those of you who are live and watching this now, have you not got anything better to do on a Sunday evening? I'm joined by Sam, Bruce, and Mike as always. And we are here to repeat the same episode we did last week as Town failed to beat a bottom of the league team. And we still don't have a manager. And the only thing that's changed is it's got slightly colder and I went to a Christmas market. We've already talked about how we all are. We were already talking about the fans forum, which happened on Friday night. Well attended. Bruce went, I think. Didn't you go, Bruce, or did you not go in the end? You were contemplating it.
I was contemplating it and I decided that, no, effectively Claire was out and I was going to leave Maisie for an hour and I thought, no, that's bad parenting. So I stayed and watched it. I thought, to be fair, you can get the same thing at home that you get there, can't you? Unless you want to ask a stupid question.
Oh, well, Jason and Andrew have been on this. Who's got the clock?
Me. I'll take the battery out.
There's a clue here for you.
We've had this conversation. I'm sure
Time's up.
I'm sure I've had this. Oh no, enough.
It's somebody that was unmuted while you were talking, Alex. There's your clue.
And it's only ever Sam, the only one that doesn't use the mute button and just sits there.
Could you imagine being on a Teams call with Sam? Like, you imagine like the 9 o'clock one when they're going, oh, another poll's come out. And, you know, then all you can hear is him crunching up cornflakes in the background because he hasn't put it on mute.
And then when he tries to mute it, he hits about 4 buttons with his fat fingers and everything and everything goes off. The meeting ends and everything.
Or when you're halfway through a point and then he just dives in answering a question that was asked 2 minutes ago because he just caught up.
It's or if it'd be on an MSN, it'd be nudging it and you have a little knock on the screen because he's pressed the button too many times and no one can touch it.
All right.
Look. Right. So fans forum went ahead. We'd great to obviously, as I said, I'm not lying actually too much into terms of saying this podcast feels like it's going to be pretty much the same as last week. So we do want your opinions on the forum on what seems to be a quite complicated and stretched out process now in terms of getting a manager. Where do you think we are? Throw your rumor hat into the rumor mill of doom and we can, you know, get as much bullshit out there as we possibly want because, hey, Reach PLC are doing that as much as they can. So we might as well join in the clickbait as well. Town drew 1-1. Sorry, you know, I can't tell the difference from last week with Forest Green, who are not Forest Green again last week. Sutton United, who are bottom of the league, and so far now, then Town have played Forest Green 23rd, Sutton 24th, and have failed to win and are struggling, much like me in this introduction. So, gents, take it away. What were your thoughts on yesterday's second worst Sutton United game at Blundell Park in its history?
I thought, frankly, that when the game had finished, they could have just replayed Hurst's interview from the Sutton game last season, when he just said it was rubbish and one of the worst games of football he'd ever seen. I think it would have been pretty apt, really. And I don't think, much like the podcast from last week, you'd be able to tell the difference. The only difference is this time there were two goals in it, two pretty poor goals. I mean, our goal, Breckiel Pike's done his best to miss it and got the ball stuck under his foot and then buried it. Our goal's another case of our just being so easy to play through. It's come right through the middle again. Sived open, it's out of nothing. We look like we're going to make it 2-0 more than concede 1-1, and all of a sudden they've got 3-on-2 against us. Our soft underbelly exposed once again has happened time and time and time again this season. We're not very good, are we, basically? I've been conflicted for weeks whether we're actually just a side that are low on confidence, who need a kind of a new set of ideas and a new energy and a new impetus to get us up and running, or whether we are actually got a set of poor players who are going to struggle to really compete in this league. And the more this goes on, I mean, I know we're unbeaten in 5, but I think that kind of, I can't on the one hand say it wasn't as bad as it looked under Hurst, and then say, oh, but the results are okay now. It must be all about results. I think 2 of those were against Slough, and 2 of those were against the worst 2 teams in the league. And they look like the worst 2 teams in the league, and we've beaten neither of them. The second half performance yesterday was as bad as anything I've seen all season. Maybe joint with the first half at Slough. I mean, we barely strung 2 passes together. There's a lack of something, and I can't work out what's wrong, which is probably more alarming. Which means if you can't work out what's wrong, then how on earth do you go about addressing it and fixing it? So in short, I'm getting more and more worried about we are genuinely going to be in the bottom 3 or 4 places for the rest of the season. And the thought of dropping into non-league again for a 3rd time is, the idea of kind of, there's no money left. We can talk about the no money in the January budget left. I think that's a bit of a misnomer. But anyway, but we're going to
let's talk about that. Let's thanks Sam. Let's talk to everybody else about the game as well, because you're moving on to budgety stuff. So Bruce, you were there.
We can't go back down again.
Bruce, you were there. What were your thoughts? I would like to answer Sam's question in saying we're just indecisive. They don't know what to do with the ball. I thought Paul Holler had a pretty poor book game. There was a part after about an hour, the Red Sea parted, and he had an opportunity to take the shot. And whether he, was struggling to take it down because I couldn't see the angle, but he just didn't take the shot. And everything hit his shin yesterday. I thought, it was a pretty poor performance from everyone who don't really know what to do with the ball when they have the opportunity.
I think 3 things that sort of spring to mind. The first one being that they looked absolutely appalling. They were awful, really, really bad. And we got in front, and you're like, here we go, going to get a comfortable sort of 2, 3, 4, even 4-0 today. And we absolutely gifted them a stupid goal at the worst possible time. It just beggars belief that these are professional footballers, because there was at least 3 or 4 things that went wrong to make that goal happen. I'd just gone in the bar to get a drink, and I couldn't even get a bloody pint. It was that busy in the bar, but it was just like, I looked up, and I haven't watched it back since, but obviously there's the first thing where we give them the ball basically, and then our shape's just all over the place. Their centre forward's just running down the middle on his own, but we have somebody that, I don't know whether it was one of the midfielders or whether it was Glennon, just watched him go. He just trotted off through the middle, and that guy made no effort at all to get back with him. Hopefully you've seen it again, so you can tell me that I'm wrong, but there was just no effort. And then as for the keeper, I don't know what the fuck he's doing. I mean, talk about giving him the eyes. I mean, it was just like, you don't dive before the shot's taken. He leant one way, and the guy just rolled it in. It's just embarrassing. I mean, that was that one. But I thought, my final point, because obviously you and Mike can talk about different stuff. I thought that I was surprised that I didn't see more mentions for Ganua yesterday for man of the match, because I thought that he, in the first half, second half, we saw a close up, but he was playing out wide on the right of the front three, obviously, and he looked. I saw lots of people say malarkey, but I didn't think he had an exceptional game. I thought he did all right, but I thought Ganua looked. He wanted the ball, and I don't know whether you see it on TV or how much of the game you see when the camera's following the ball, but he wanted the ball every time it was near him. And a lot of the time, our players have got one or no options, and he was available every time, and he tried to do different things. And I couldn't figure out what had happened. And I think what they did was when they made the substitutions, they put him into the middle of the pitch, and that ruined him really for me. He hardly got on the ball in the middle, and last 20 minutes he seemed to be in the middle of the park. And I'd like to have seen him stay on the right because he was. I thought he was a bright spark, if you like, in an otherwise dim performance.
I thought him and Malarkey had a great first half together, working in tandem. But I thought they both disappeared in the second. Before I go to Mike, let's have a quick look at some of the things that have been putting through. Matt B says, does anyone else think that Conte play the way he plays? He sits so deep and he invites pressure. We look different when Green plays over him, resulting in the last 5 minutes. Show it, don't it? I mean, I've got a comment on Camille Conte. I think if he's that good, he starts standing out in this team, and I haven't seen that yet. In terms of head and shoulders above everyone.
You went last week, mate, but I heard that Green was appalling last week. Distribution, and he was poor in the game before that at home. He gets a lot of greeny, but actually, I think that's for effort rather than attainment. Personally,
I thought that was for me.
He embodies non-league.
But yeah, they need to shout louder at home games.
Yeah. Well, I'm not there, as I keep getting told.
He's the most non-league midfielder I've ever seen, Bruce. In terms of his, he's extreme in every aspect. He's extreme work ethic, extreme determination, extreme sort of battle and aggression. But his distribution, he's not a footballer. I mean, he made Michael Leary look like Paul Scholes. Nah,
I'm not having that. Josh says, Josh Ellis says the problem will be Tuesday at Fake FC, who score for fun. Gemma Ho says Sutton are better than us. Andrew Niall says, I agree with Matt. Conte should be further forward. Tom Broadley says Eastwood isn't great, however, he's better than Cartwright. Paul Dawson says, fair assessment, Bruce. It wasn't pretty. Agree about Arthur, says John Lewis. I guess in agreement to Bruce, who was playing really well. And Andrew Niall says Cartwright isn't great, but potentially better than Eastwood. I think Cartwright is better than Eastwood, but that is, tall dwarf competition, really. Mike, what were your thoughts? I'm sure there's a better acronym simile for that one, but there we go. Just going to throw the vertically challenged under the bus.
Yeah, I don't disagree with either Bruce or Sam in the main. I think for me, the first 30 minutes we were okay without being fantastic. I thought we were decent enough and deserved to be in front. I think it's one of those games where if you get the second, we sort of kill it off. We didn't get that second, and then we've conceded at the worst time to concede. A goal right on the stroke half time completely changes how they go into the changing rooms. And we've said before about this team and its confidence, and I could imagine that would have given them 15 minutes to sit there thinking about oh shit. I think the poor quality, as Sam has said, was just dull crap, and just no ideas really. It was like they'd run out of any sort of cohesion or any ideas on what to do with the football. I sort of agree with what Ben Davis has said, where they just weren't at it, and that sometimes happens in football. I think moving to the wider point that Sam was talking on.
Hang on, Mike. I think Bruce has been very disrespectful here. He's just putting his washing away.
I've just noticed. Sorry, I've still got that bloody blue T-shirt hung up on over the town shirt. Sorry, Mike. I was listening.
No, he wasn't.
You were talking about the weather, weren't you? Talking about the weather, weren't you?
Yeah, I was just moving on to Sam's more broader point about the team. I mean, if you take the results and just look at the results, then you've got a valid point. I think what we have to do, though, is look when Ben and Sean took over, how we were playing. Take the results out of it. How were we playing football? And then look at the 5 games after they've taken over. Maybe forget the Slough first game a bit because it's a bit of a non-event. But I think if you look over those 4 games, other than maybe the second half of the game we saw on Saturday, I think you can see clearly there is a massive improvement with how we're playing with the ball further up the pitch. I think we've looked like a team that can score goals. We've looked like a team that has a plan and a clear identity. We have 3 strikers that have scored 20 goals. So we've got players that score goals. We've got players that create chances. The issue we have had is in the defensive third when we look absolutely wrecked of confidence and just nervous. I don't think we looked quite as bad with that yesterday, but we didn't have that sort of cohesion in the final third and creating the chances. So for me, if you look at the results, it's a valid argument. I think if you actually look at how the team's been performing recently, I think you can draw a conclusion that they have made a forward step. That obviously has to get better and improve under a new manager. But I think if you do look at the way we've been playing, I think it's improved.
Look, my question is when are we going to get enough defensive coaches into the coaching staff so that we can, support the guys that we're using? Because clearly we don't have enough defensive guys in the back to be able to teach the players how to defend.
I don't think it's anything to do with that. I think it's they looked absolutely like Bambi on ice. I don't think it's anything to do with ability, skill, or that. I think it's all mental. They just look like they don't want the football, and if it comes near them, like, oh fucking hell, what do I do with it?
Are you sure it's mental? I just don't think they're good enough. Some of them.
Yeah,
can't it be both? Can't it be both?
No, I would think they're good enough because Ma played here last season. He was decent in the National League, one of the best centre defenders in the National League. Ma played here last season to show us that. Rodgers has played in League One, and Waterfall we've seen play for season. So they have the ability. That's not a question. The question is, are they applying it? And I don't think they are as a team. And I think that's where the issue has come this season, is the fact that there's no confidence and you're going to ship goals. You're just going to ship them. And as we said last week, you can't always rely on scoring 2 and 3 to get a result because you will still ship 2. And I think that was the case yesterday.
So only once was an improvement.
I thought we'd improved, but it's actually very small if we have, because I've seen 4 of he said they've been in charge 5 games. I've seen 4 of them, I think go to Forest Green, but we were awful at Slough. We were awful for me in the Slough replay, even though we won 7-2. It wasn't great. We weren't good yesterday. We were good against. We were half decent against. Was it the home game we won? Was it Accrington? I can't remember. Morecambe. Have I missed
just
a game?
Forest
Green. I didn't go. I saw a little bit of the first half where it was a bit like yesterday, wasn't it? We were sort of we were the better team for the first till we let them score. Alex, you went, didn't you? They were. I thought watching it, we were the better team, and then they scored effectively. So I don't think. But don't forget, of course, that we've played National League South Slough twice. Who were down in the bottom. Who were down in the bottom 3 or 4, 5 of the division, 2 divisions below us, and we've played the bottom 2 in our league. So I think Mike said they weren't as bad yesterday, but we were playing bottom of the fucking league.
And they looked it.
Sorry, apologies for the language.
And they looked it, didn't they? They looked bottom of the league.
And also, it's a Morecambe team as well. Apologies, Morecambe team that have lost 3 in a row.
And so I sort of not take issue. Take issue is the wrong word, but I don't think we've improved that much. Basically, I think we improved in the second half against Morecambe. I think you can say that was better than anything we'd produced beforehand. But apart from that, I think it's very slim pickings. I mean, you and I were at Forest Green last week, Alex, and we were very
dedicated.
Dedicated. We were poor, weren't we, at Forest Green? I mean, even when we equalised, we had all the momentum with us, and they still only scored 2 goals in the.
That's the thing. We equalised, then went let's hold on for a point against 23rd Forest Green after we've just come back from 2-0 down. It was just.
I think it. We'll come on to the management thing, but I just think it needs sorting as soon as, because I think they need fresh voices, and then we'll find out, won't we? We get, these two have got different ideas, but some of their principles are going to be the same. Some of they might have been influenced by the previous management who they worked under. I just think we need a couple of people in there with fresh ideas, and then we'll find out, Sam, won't we, whether they're good enough, and whether they've been not badly coached, but whether they a change in thinking and a change in tweaking tactics maybe or something. But we keep calling out the defence, but you do defend as a team, don't you? I know they're not doing the right things all the time.
Midfield doesn't exist.
Is the midfield? Sorry,
midfield doesn't exist. It just gets bypassed.
And we don't know what the best midfield is, do we? We keep playing the three in the middle. Three in the middle.
And he gets overrun.
Yeah,
well,
and we're still not dominating the middle of the park, are we? And when we get the ball, when one of the two players that play out wide, for example, like you say yesterday with Malarkey and Ganua, I'm sick to death of sitting there in the lower, especially when we're attacking the Osman. So you're looking at that side of the pitch.
Why have they changed that, Bruce? Sorry for interrupting. Why have they changed to kick?
Did we win the toss yesterday and turn it round?
But we've had it a couple of times now, haven't we?
We've lost We've lost the last two tosses and swap round.
Right, so we haven't done anything. They've turned us round effectively.
Okay. Yeah, they've turned us round. Yeah.
But there's three central midfielders, and so often you look up, and there's nobody available. There's nobody in the middle, and you're like, where are they? Where are they? What they're doing? But yeah, I think get some fresh.
That points for like a confidence, doesn't it, in players hiding, sort of shrinking when he gets a bit tough, or sort of if you're being more critical, a lack of bottle from the players.
We do seem to as well. Just going back to the Conte thing, he seems to be tied to the halfway line. He plays in the centre circle effectively. You don't. He's one of the three, but like I say, if Malarkey comes over the halfway line, Conte's generally not going to be one of the players that's available to him. He just stays rigidly in the middle of the pitch. So you're looking to Holohan, or who was the other one yesterday that played? Started. Andrews. Yeah, I've not seen a great deal of him yet. So yeah, get somebody in ASAP, and we'll see what happens, because they need to start working on them as quickly as they can.
The only thing that I would say is an advantage at the moment is it is tight down there. If we'd have won, and I know it's ifs and buts and can do's and nuts and whatever the shit they say, but we'd have been 17th, and then all of a sudden it does look a lot different. I know it's not the case, but new manager comes in, get a new manager bounce, 2-3 games, and then we're quite clear of this. But I'm still, this feels so much like the Holloway season that it's unreal. But the only thing that's different is we've got a good foundation. Mike, sorry, you were muted, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I don't want to misrepresent myself. I'm not saying it's great. What I'm saying is over the last couple of games.
Yes, you are.
No, but when Paul Hurst was here, we were saying certain things about what we're doing with the football in the final third. And I think I don't think anybody could legitimately claim that has not improved. Obviously, things need to get better, and I think in the January window, you probably need a couple of centre halves, to be honest. And I think the issue is why people are picking up the defence, Bruce, is quite simply it's just the when another team's attacking, I've never felt so unconfident at watching us defend. I'm just watching. I think somebody's going to slice it here, keeper's going to drop it here. Someone's going to put it in their own net. It just looks like a comedy of errors back there.
In the defence, for having a bit of balance, I thought Waterfall played quite well yesterday. He looked more. I think he was picked because it was Sutton and they're a physical side, but I thought he looked more composed and more at ease than he had done in any of the games he'd seen before this season. There's a clear improvement on Rodgers, I thought. But so in the latter days of Hurst, right? So we scored 2 at Stockport. We didn't score 2 against Colchester. One's a comedy own goal, but we were still scoring a few goals at the real back end of the Hurst era, and I don't think we played. And we weren't. I'm not saying we looked like winning games under Hurst. We were, but by the end of it, we were playing poorly and losing games deservedly. But that performance at Forest Green was very akin to, or Sutton at home was very akin to the Accrington defeat. Or Forest Green was very akin to the game at Doncaster. It's just they were poorer teams, so we got more against them. I think.
I don't think you can expect. The only thing you can expect with Sean and Ben, who, by the way, I thought spoke really well at the fans forum, is that they can give an element of a clean slate for a lot of the players, but they're still, embroiled in the fact that they were the coaching staff under Hurst, and they're still going to, feel loyal at times to that sort of process. And I don't think until we get a new manager in, we're going to see much of a change. We are a little bit more, we're a bit more freewheeling now, but that, is showing in terms of defensive errors.
No, I wasn't expecting improvement. I thought these two kind of like, we'll just sort of do something until we get a new manager in. The idea we have improved, I just disagree with that notion. On Sean Pearson, you're not going to find a bigger Paul Hurst disciple than Sean Pearson, are you? Given how many times he's signed him and worked with him over the years.
I think we said last week, one thing.
Poor Bruce. I am noticing Bruce. These two young whippersnappers are bullying you. You're too old. You're not quick enough to react to the mute button.
I'm just doing it the right way, mate. I'll bide my time.
Do you mean the right way? The way where Alex says, right, if you want to speak next, unmute.
I thought you would go anyway. I can't remember what I was going to say now because I am.
All I can think of is that South Park clip of going, will you let... Okay, I've finished. What were you going to say, Bruce?
No, I can't even remember what I was going to say now. So it's gone. It might have been important and it might have been the first decent thing ever, but it's gone.
You were going to cure the defensive ills then, and we've just taken it away from us.
What are you going to talk about? Everyone talks about the defence, but the midfield. We need to look at the midfield as well.
You were on about the coaches. I think you were on about the coaches, and I'm just going to agree with Alex that I thought they did speak. They did speak really well, and I think that Ben's been very honest in his post-match. It's generally him that comes out post-match, and I think he's been very honest in his appraisal, which I mentioned before, and it's not just me. Hopefully other people feel like it as well. But when the manager towards the end, Hurst was seeing things that I wasn't in games. I thought we played all right, and I thought we did this, and I thought we did that, and I guess there's a bit of self-preservation in that. But I think that Ben Davies is coming out and he's saying it how it is, and that's refreshing, and that's a bit of Alex's clean slate thing, I think. But he's not. He's just literally, doing the job for a short period of time. I think they've both got bright futures, though, and they both come across really well. And I was surprised. It might be naive on my part, but I was surprised when Pearson was talking about the tactics, how in depth it is, even at our level, when they're talking about phases and what happens and the ball retention, and the people that are watching these games back. Oh, this happened and that happened. It's very in depth, but far more in depth than I understood at our level, the analysis.
Josh Ellis says, I guess, enough time has elapsed now. What's the odds on Paul Hurst coming back? I assume Sam will be back in it.
Well, I will be if we were back in non-league.
It's been a pretty poorly communicated, week or so. And I know we're not expect to know everything and they're going through a process, but I know we put something out expecting David Artell to come through. Well, I put it out. We do get, these bits of nuggets of information coming through to us, and we tend to very rarely, act on them. But when you're hearing it from the couple of sources we had, we were fully expecting that to come out. And I think we'd already spoken as well previously about how this board likes to, have an announcement at a larger event, whether it be on the podcast with us or at the fans forum. They tend to like to have something in their pocket. And the fact that during Twitter, I think they said that first team representatives will be there, rather than saying Ben and Sean, suggested that was the way it was going. No other clues and nothing else is coming out at the moment. But, it's been a relatively interesting time over the last couple of days, if you're into that sort of thing. But it feels like it needs to be dealt with. I don't know if anybody else has got anything to say on the manager rumor merry-go-round, but I'm just sick of it.
Yeah, I think it's very clear from, as you described, the rumours and the facts no representatives were announced for the fans forum, that I think it's very clear they thought they'd have something to announce on Friday, didn't they? And then something's gone wrong at some point, whatever that is. And it's left everybody wondering why. I do think sometimes a section of us, of the fan base, may let themselves sort of get carried away a little bit with the. I'm
separating the rest of the pod from this. It's all Mike.
No way. I'm not having any of our fan base get excited and about things.
No, I think
these are the opinions of Mike McMahon.
allow themselves to get carried away ever so slightly by ifs and buts and maybes. You know, somebody says something and then that turns into that's a fact. So, for example, you know, there was a comment at the forum about the Ben and Sean staying on. And then that suddenly turned into the fact that that's a prerequisite of any manager coming in. And then that's taken as fact and then presented as a fact in a debate. And I think sometimes you just need to calm down a little bit.
I thought Jason said that was the case in the fans forum.
No, he says they're staying.
It changed from they're staying in some capacity to they've got to be assistant manager part of it.
Fine, yeah. No, I my understanding was they're going to just be on the coaching staff, and that
nobody said that, Sam.
Sense.
No, he said people.
No, he said he wasn't going to. No, he said he wasn't going to get into any discussion on where they're going to stay. He said it's a prerequisite that they stay involved. But when he was asked about the assistant manager thing, he refused to answer it.
They weren't assistant managers before. I don't see how you expect anybody to come in and just work on their own. I think they're coaches, and that is what they'll be when I mean, I might be wrong, but I think that's what they'll be when the new manager comes in. I would fully expect a manager to bring in his own assistant manager. You can't expect somebody to come on their own, which is what we used to do on the cheap, or we would try and put our own managerial team together from the chairman's wish list. But I can't see that. I completely agree. But at our level, you don't change the whole bloody coaching team anyway. I mean,
no, of course
when you can't afford to. It's not the Premier League. You can't afford to bloody get rid of 5 or 6 people because they were Paul Hurst's people. You've got coaches here who are paid, I would imagine, not a fortune. It's their livelihoods. It's what they do, and they're local. They're not going to be people that are shipped in from away. That's just anybody that gets carried away in that. I can't see why there wouldn't be an assistant manager and a manager brought in, and the coaches, the youth team coaches, all the other people, the sports scientists, all those people will remain the same. If they can't work with the new people, then in time they might move on or be moved on. But in the first place, I can't see that they would be any more than coaches if that's what the new manager wanted.
And that's the point I was sort of making, is that's different from what was said, and then that gets carried on, and everybody's going off about you can't enforce a manager to have his own assistant. Well, that's not what was said, but because somebody speculated, it then got taken as fact, and now that's what everybody's losing their shit about. It was quite clear to me what Jason said is these two lads have been here. They're a bit of club legends. They've done all right. We want them to stay in the coaching staff, and that is a stipulation. That does not necessarily mean Jason Stockwood has said to any manager, you have to work with these two guys as your assistants. That's completely different.
No, like I say, I think it's a given anyway. Just as an example of stuff, I've seen I've been told 2 different things by 2 different people today. One of which was that he was at the training ground on Friday, Artell, and then somebody else has told me he didn't turn up on Friday. So
I've heard that as well.
Exactly. People are just we need it done because people are losing the shit, and somebody somewhere is making stuff up. Everyone's desperate for something, for some news. The way that these guys operate, we don't get leaks, and people are desperate for information, and so as a result, anything that somebody says, like Alex says, it's been taken, and you, Mike, to be fair, it's just getting. Everybody's desperate for something. So that's the main reason for me that it needs sorting, because Jason was saying about the speculation online and things like that doesn't help. You ain't going to stop the fans speculating. No. I know he mentioned John Tonder and things like that, but that's just one person with it's not it's Town's Humberside reporter, but it's not like you would be. The levels of scrutiny are fairly small. But there are some people chatting some absolute shit, Mike. You're right. I just can't. I've responded to a few. I'm always polite, but some of the stuff that some of the clowns write on bloody Praise and Grumble or on the Fishy or wherever, it's just it's just. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you on about? It's just like something else to moan about. We'll get a manager fairly soon. Nobody knows jack shit, so stop speculating. Stop talking crap. Oh, this has definitely happened. Oh, we're not happy. It was a bloke yesterday that was saying if these two don't want to put up the money and pay for a decent manager, then they should sell up. Put up your money. Put up their money. Did they not listen to the forum? You know, they're standing us for £1 million this year. And then I've seen people saying, "Oh, where's the FA Cup money gone? Where's the?" Well, they've just told you in one conversation it's going to cost 350 grand to do up the main stand to make it fit for purpose. Nobody's done anything at that club or that ground other than a lick of paint for 20 years,
which the fans had to do because they couldn't be asked to pay for anyone.
But they've had to pick this up. It's probably more work than they thought it was, and it's going to cost them more of their own money than they thought it was. But they're doing what they can to improve us on and off the pitch. People that say, "Oh, all I'm bothered about is on the pitch," and then somebody else will say, "Oh, isn't it great? Isn't it nice that the toilets are better in the main stand? And I'm going to bring my family now because they can see from the front row of the upper and stuff like that." There's so many experts out there, and it's just like, you know, put up or shut up. They're spending £1 million. What do you want? Sell up. Who's going to buy? How long did it take to get somebody to come up with the money to buy out Mr. Fenty? Years, 15 years of chuntering and moaning before somebody stumped up the money when the club was in the shit. It baffles me, some of them. I just don't understand it, and it just winds me up. Sorry.
And I agree wholeheartedly, and I don't want to be seen as you know, a happy clapper, but it's exactly right. If there was this level of scrutiny was put onto John Fenty at any point during his 17 years of terror, then we'd have been, you know, hopefully out of the shit a long time ago. The fact is that the club was in, you know, as you said, it's in a position of disrepair, and we're at a far better solid foundations now than we've ever been. We, you know, hit the international spotlights with an incredible playoff campaign and then reached the FA Cup quarterfinals. Incredible. Last year we finished, you know, the highest we finished in 17 years. It's nothing to crow about finishing 11th or 10th in League Two, but it's an achievement for us in such a short space of time. I don't think anyone expected the team we've got and the players that have been put in. Danny Rose last season achieved playoff promotion with Stevenage. Camille Conte, one of the most highly sought after midfielders in the National League. Rob Malarkey, you know, and Harvey Rogers, both of whom had come through and had glowing reports and references from the fans that came back. And we know what that can be like from opposition fans. Look at just bringing in Manny Desaruve and the abuse that he got from Tranmere Rovers fans, saying he's worse than fucking Stephen Payne. So that shows exactly how much Tranmere Rovers fans understand about football, because you get this crap and you just get people going, "Oh, well, they're not doing this, they're not doing that." You say £1 million this season, and that includes the FA Cup money. And it's served to say the amount of, you know, considering John Fenty is a North East Lincolnshire councillor at a time before he's disgracefully kicked off and fell into and hid in the weeds. It's amazing how all of this crap is coming out now in terms of the pontoons roof needs fixing. The main stand needs nearly over £250,000 fixing on it. That wasn't happening in the last 17 years. So all of a sudden, you know, SAG and everybody else who comes through is finding all these issues because God knows what was happening before. It's an absolute disgrace that it's here. And I can't believe you guys were saying, look at all the abuse. And I hadn't seen any of it because I must live in an echo chamber. And then so I ventured onto the fishy, onto that fans forum bloody thread and onto Praise and Grumble. And my God, there are so many people with their heads up their arse. They have no idea. And for any of you that are listening, sort your fucking lives out. Jesus Christ.
You'll be popular on there again, Alex, won't you?
Oh, like I give a fuck. I could not give a fuck. Jesus.
Flag off the fishy all you like.
Just a couple of things. So, as you say, there are some people that are just happy to have a moan, whatever it is. Now, from my point of view, I've seen these owners for the last 3 years. And when Jason says that the fans forum and trust us, do you know what they've done over the 3 years? They've built up a wad of credit in the bank where I say, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to trust you. You know, because you're professional people, you know what you do and you care about the club. You will be doing things that are best for the club. Now, in the fans forum, people were having a go because he wasn't going to, you know, he didn't say anything about the manager. Well, when you're in a negotiation, you're not going to tell everybody in the world where you are in that negotiation. That will just be
the manager's going to rub his hands together and go, right, I can have some more money now. They've basically announced to the world who they're going to get. It's stupid.
Exactly. And another thing about the FA Cup money.
And the same thing with, sorry, Mike, and the same with the money. I'm really sorry. You know, when he says they've got no money to spend, you're not going to go to a negotiations to say, we've got FA Cup quarterfinal money coming out of our fucking ears. What the hell? Jesus. Yeah. Sorry, Mike. I'll shut up.
Sorry, that was the point. I was halfway through, mate. Never mind. So, you know, Jason has said several times it may have been a mistake saying all that FA Cup money was going into the budget. Maybe he's learned from that, and maybe we shouldn't take things at face value. We were in the market for a few players on transfer deadline day and didn't get them. That money hasn't disappeared. And the final thing I would say is when you start looking at criticism that we're doing things on the cheap, look at off the pitch on the coaching staff and the sports science staff. That has grown and grown with investment from these three. Do you think they're going to let a manager go because the deal breaker is an assistant manager? It may very well be that they say opening negotiation point is you come in, these two lads are working for you. Doesn't necessarily mean that's the deal breaker. When you're in a negotiation, you start off at a point and hope you don't get too far from your position until you agree something. So I just think it's for the birds. If you actually look at the evidence of the last 3 years, they've invested off the pitch, they've invested on the pitch. The playing staff has grown and the quality has grown. We can have that debate again. But also the coaching staff. I've never seen so many coaches, sports scientists, analysts, people that Debbie was saying were working on the training ground on preventing injury. So the money is there. So stop this absolute nonsense that they're not putting their hand in their pocket, because they are. And it's always easy. We say this all the time. It's so easy to spend other people's bloody money.
It is very easy to spend other people. Sorry, Bruce.
No, you're right. I was just going to say, I think the thing is as well that people, the people that have come out and they're only bothered about, people are only bothered about what happens on the pitch. Well, surely you attract better quality of manager by offering them better facilities to train their players and to work in. Haven't we relayed
that will feed onto the pitch in time as well.
We've relayed the pitch at Blundell Park, haven't we? We've put the sprinkler system in. We've relayed the pitch at Cheapside. All this stuff costs. Nothing's cheap these days, is it? All this stuff costs money.
And the amount of Bruce, the amount of fuck ups with that as well. Like, I think we talked about it in private. One of the last things one of the people that used to work at the club under Fenty did was buy porta cabins for Cheapside. And what they didn't do, because they're thick as two planks of fucking wood, is they forgot to work out how high the gym equipment is. So they bought a fucking porta cabin, which wasn't high enough to include the equipment that they need in the fucking gym equipment. So then they had to buy another one.
And one last point on this from me is the fact that I think we forget what a laughingstock this club was with agents and with players. Go back to when the takeover was happening and read the article that was in Cod Almighty. Right, we were absolute laughingstock about trying to save 50 quid on a wage. Right now, if you look at it, the things and looking after players has improved as well. The training pitch, but also the things you see about families get invited to days and looking after players like Sean Scannell when he's injured. So
yeah,
just the work that you don't see is also there. So I think some people need to remember the absolute skip fire they took over and where we are actually now on and off the pitch.
And I think to be fair, we've all had a bit of a rant, but we need to remember as well that there's a silent majority that are probably of the same thought process that we are, but it does wind you up, and it's hard not to bite when you do see some of this stuff posted on different forums.
Oh yeah, I regularly bite back on all sorts of things when I shouldn't. I don't know. The idea that we're doing it on the cheap is ridiculous. But just going back to there is obviously money there in the January window. That's just a negotiating point, because no good can come of saying, oh yeah, we've still got some money in the budget, because then agents will rub their hands together. But on that, it's a bloody good job there's some money left in the budget, because we're going to need to sign some new players in January who are like significantly better than what they've got at the moment. My mind's made up about the whether we're low on confidence or just poor now. I think we're going to have. He's going to have to get his checkbook out and sign some players. I know.
Hang on, I'm not sure about this, because you said I think you were unsure at the beginning. Has this podcast helped you?
No, I said I had been unsure, and I'm gradually moving towards the idea they're not good enough. I don't think they are. I don't think enough of them are good enough. Just going back to the football, one thing we've not talked about at all is Danny Rose was suspended yesterday, and Ben Davies actually said, that didn't help it at all, like massively missed him. And I think that's a point that's worth making, that he will come back into the side on Tuesday night, and we probably will look better for it.
I disagree with you respectfully about the confidence and the quality thing. I think the proof will be how we are when the new guy comes in. So I could be wrong, but I think we're one or two decent centre backs and a bit of confidence and a new way of playing away from being all right. Yeah, and a goalkeeper. I thought that was a given.
And preferably a number 10.
No, I don't know. But I think we're just those couple of additions and the tweaks with a new guy coming in away from being all right, to be totally honest with you, mate. But the proof will be there at the end of the season. I do disagree with you, though.
I'm sure. Sorry, Bruce.
Oh, sorry. No, you were unmuted, but then you were always unmuted. We did say though a few weeks ago, didn't we, Alex? That we've said it a few times on the pod that, you know, go back to the start of the season and we say we're a couple of centre backs away, but we had Maher and Rodgers and we said they were fucking brilliant at the start of the season. You know, I wonder if it's more about the team than the defense than the actual, you know, than the four players that perhaps play in defence.
It's just everybody.
I wonder if it's defending as a team or what, or like you say, or the keeper or whatever, because I think Harvey Rodgers looked class earlier in the season, and then like Sam said earlier on, we seemed to change, didn't we? From, you know, the start of the season, we didn't let many in, but we didn't score, and then even when Hurst was still here, we became a team that conceded 2 or 3 every game. I mean, we've not kept a clean sheet apparently in 17 games now, but we started to score goals. It's like it's gone completely the other way. So there's got to be some decent players in there because we saw them at the start of the season.
Yeah, it's the Bradford game. It flipped there. Something happened at Bradford that flips it.
It's like
he didn't headbutt him, did he?
I did say this last week, Bruce, that I don't think players become poor overnight, and I don't think any of the players are potentially that bad. What I do think the issue we have is when a player has a bad game, whether it's a striker, midfielder, defender, goalkeeper, you usually have an option to take them out the side. At centre half, the only option we have, other than Malaki, who's predominantly a right back, is Luke Waterfall, who hasn't been his best this season. So I think it's a case of you need the options to change it. When Rodgers has had 2 bad games, let's take him out for a couple of games and he can come again. You know, Conte had a bit of that. You know, Issa's had a bit of that. We've seen players all through their careers have these are League 2, Division 4 footballers. They're not going to be on it every week. So there's no chance to change it round and freshen it up a bit. I think that's the issue.
Okay. Does everyone? Have you got anything in the chat, Alex? Anything?
We do, Bruce. Thank you very much for.
There's nobody listening.
125 at the moment. My God, is there? I assume strictly results night has gone.
We're going to announce the new manager at 9.
I'll tell you something. The only thing I quite like about David Artell, I don't know much about him, is that he goes on a couple of podcasts. He might, he might want to come.
He's also another defender from South Yorkshire, but we'll
Rotherham. Good thing.
Rotherham. But one day it'll be my turn if we keep going for people from Rotherham, won't it?
So John Lewis says we shouldn't have to rely on Rose alone. Other players are good enough, and we should have beaten Sutton without. We've got a lot of strikers that are scoring. And Mike is getting, and this, you know, this is behind the scenes stuff, but he's getting Sam Mishiafete-esque with Rakiel Pike, considering all he's done is score against Slough and the bottom teams in the league. But you know, he's getting there. He's getting there.
There's nothing wrong with defending a player who's over defending a player because you think there's a ridiculous agenda against him from people, even though he's not half as bad as people make him out to be. I'm on your side with this.
Sam's saying it's the woke agenda. That's what the problem is.
Hey, I've got money on this with Nolan, so you know.
Where the hell have you got that from?
I don't know. He told me I had. I can't remember agreeing to it, but I'm
oh no, he's asking me about the woke agenda thing. Oh, it's because of your political persuasions. But the other thing is Nolan has said it, so they're the two things.
Okay, right. I've got you now.
Sam, what do you say about your dear, well-supported Prime Minister once again supporting your GTFC hat? Are you happy you gave it to him?
It's not mine. I've never owned a hat like that. I'd say it's good advertising. Once upon a time the most popular politician in Britain. Anyway,
once upon a time.
I'd go right back.
Can I finish these?
I was going to make a Jimmy Savile joke then, but I'm not going to do it.
Oh, don't do that.
Ben Davies did sound yesterday as if he was doing his interview as if that was it for him. That was just the impression I got.
Very true.
Can I make a massive prediction? I'm staking it all that we actually unveil David Artell tomorrow. I'm telling you, that's what I think.
Oh well, yeah.
You said we'd fucked it all up. You said we'd fucked it all up in the chat earlier on.
No, that was yesterday, and I will admit. Unfortunately,
graph you had out for me during the Ashes about.
No, I'm not having this. I'm defending myself.
You two in the chat.
Shut up.
We're quoting each other's chats, and we fucked it all up. No, we haven't fucked it all up. He's fucked off, and it was.
Do you want me to show the receipts?
Shut up! I'm going to defend myself here, right? So I think I've been quite fair publicly about it. But when you're in so many groups with Sam, Andy DMs you, and you see his stuff on Twitter, sometimes the negativity rubs off. So I had 5 minutes where I had to compose
Don't blame
myself.
me.
It's your fault. You're so negative.
I'm not negative. I'm not negative in the bloody slightest.
How are you ever?
That's not true.
How are you ever a happy clapper? I don't get it.
Josh Ellis is desperate to ask this. Who's going to Franchise FC?
I'm going.
Sam's going. Mike is going.
No,
I've got someone's put a meeting in at 6 o'clock in London, so I'm on the fence.
I've got something similar that's come up since I said that. I'm definitely going to Oxford. I've bought the tickets. I'm at Oxford, but I've got a meeting in Epsom that I can't get away from.
If we've got a new manager, I might go.
As usual, Josh Ellis. It's just me on a cold Tuesday night somewhere that's not very fashionable. It's me by myself from the Pod Brigade. But so
Sam's only going because
you won't be by yourself. Auntie T will be there.
Auntie Lunch is coming, correct? Yes.
Sam is only going because he wants to see the Max Verstappen Red Bull victory parade in Milton Keynes. That was the.
And he doesn't have a proper job.
And he doesn't have a proper job. No,
when you grow up, Sam, when you're a big boy and you grow up.
This is not 18
Sam,
months in the future.
You keep it going, Sam. You don't have to change. Don't listen to the bullies.
Harry, I'm negative though. Maybe you'd be negative. You came to more games, you two.
Yeah, you can't just turn it off. You can't turn it off at 5 to 5, Sam. Can you? You
can't just shut his laptop, can he?
No.
I'll tell you what I did because I was going to do a tweet on it. I went at half time. I went and stood outside and had a cup of tea, so I felt like I was the same as everybody else.
Freezing cold. Yeah, Mike had a prawn sandwich.
Yeah, I don't think it's negative with Sam. I think it's manic depressive or something. Just spirals.
But no, you've definitely gone for because you created. I remember it very clearly during the Ashes. You created that kind of. We're back. We're so back. We're done. We're so done. You know that you remember the thing.
I didn't create it. I found it online, mate. I didn't spend that much time on it.
Anyway,
you did create a pod WhatsApp chat though, didn't you, about the cricket? Or one of you did.
Yeah, you left after 2 days.
Yes, Bruce did not appreciate being in the podcast group.
Yeah, I want to change my settings so that I have to be invited now.
Paul Dawson says, we don't want anybody who is not fully committed as manager. It could be a non-mentioned manager as a curveball. Watch this space. Paul is in the know and is telling us.
I hope not. I've put Maisie Sabins on Alex's prediction.
David Artell is off to Morecambe. It says Grimbo. Look, either way, he's going to end up at a desolate seaside location that nobody wants to go to. So, you know.
Alex, can I just comment on that?
You are more than welcome to, my friend.
Right, if David Artell has been doing all this important stuff and he's been round the houses getting training and coaching and things like that, and he's been waiting for a project, does Morecambe really seem like a project? Can they be much bigger or better than they are now?
I don't buy it personally.
If he's been waiting and biding his time for the right job, that does not seem like the right job to me. Well, it'll be a mistake on his part, in my opinion, if he does. But
there's an opportunity that he could be using them as a bouncing point, couldn't he? As a negotiation tactic.
I have to say, I could be wrong, but I'm with Turncoat Terry in the bottom right corner. I think that it could be done.
Turncoat Terry.
Could I say, right, just 2 things. On Paul Dawson, he's absolutely right. And one thing that I said over the weekend was if a manager says, I don't want Paul and Sean in my backroom staff, then that's a red flag to me. So firstly, that would be, it'd be something that would concern me. And secondly, I'm fed up with us running ourselves down. This club is in a very good position. We're far better prospect long term than somebody like Morecambe.
We're better prospect at the moment than Bradford.
We've demonstrated,
and with yo-yo between the non-league and League Two.
No, Sam, don't.
That's not representative of where we are.
No, look, we've got an ownership model that has demonstrated they will give somebody time, they will give somebody backing. We've got a big fan base. We've just been in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. We've just got promoted back out of the National League. There is so much there that other clubs don't have. Clubs that sit in League 2 10th, for 10 years and don't do anything. I'm not having this that Grimsby Town's boring. There is the backing and the pull there that makes us better prospect than somebody like Morecambe. I'm not having anything else. We're Grimsby Town and we should be bloody well proud of it.
Oh, Mike, can you do that again and I'll find a decent backing track?
We need to stop floating around the bottom half of League Two and the top half of the conference. Then
we've only had new owners. We've only been in the football league with new owners for 18 months.
They're not remotely accountable for or responsible for that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the perception of us.
Oh yeah, I've turned music on, so it's fucking Mike's mic up in it.
Well, that's the point, Sam. That's the point. We've got new leadership. Who bothers about 15 years ago? Who cares?
I don't know.
One thing I like, Paul. So Paul says, could location argument be an issue again? Ben Davis talked the area up at the fans forum, saying it's actually pretty, and Sean Pearson did as well, actually saying it's a really good area. And
they've both got wives who are from Grimsby.
And that's the thing. Men and women of Grimsby, do your duty to your town and go out there and bag a prospective footballer and prospective manager. It is your duty to go out into the wide world and marry anyone with sporting potential on a footballing field, and then bring them back.
Could you go out with me, and then I've got an excuse to move out of London and come back up north?
You're going to get an excuse very soon. You're going to get an excuse very soon.
Is this another episode of Sam Tries? Are we going through different women now? This could get controversial.
He is also from Rotherham, guys. So there is a location pool there anyway. He was born.
Yeah, he knows how shit it is.
Long time
he can commute with Waterfall.
Oh, could you imagine that conversation? Sharing with Luke Waterfall on the way in. Oh, you're not in. Could you imagine telling Luke Waterfall he's not in the starting 11 and then having to drive home with him?
Or even worse, he's got to drive you. This is the way to my house.
I could see him deliberately crashing the car.
This is the way to my house. I know it isn't, David.
Right, we are.
I'm nearly ready for my thing in a minute.
Hang on, let's do Bruce's thing. I haven't made a thing, Bruce, and I'm really sorry because I should really make a little video thing. Let's see if I can find
it out so I can.
Bruce's game. We're nothing but professional.
Name that team, it's called.
Name that team.
Yeah, hang on. Keep talking.
Okay, our contestants. A man who's going to be out of a job in 18 months, Sam Barrick. Hey!
I think I'm going to be still there in 18 months' time. Bloody hell. That means
man whose CV is already going out across the nation, Sam Barrick.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Right, I'm ready.
A man who only thinks everything is good in Yorkshire, forgetting the only reason God made Yorkshire so beautiful that nobody would leave it, thankfully, is Mike McMahon.
Yorkshire.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I do that at Oxford. Exactly.
Can you just mute them, Alex, please?
You'll get bloody.
Welcome to the show.
You'll get, if you could do that, I don't know, I'll start.
Bruce, can you at least get in the camera shot?
Sorry.
Bloody Yorkies.
I was just getting closer to Sam because he was just right. Okay, we're going to name that team, and we're going to keep going until people.
Is it Grimsby Town?
Team. Yes, this is Grimsby Town. And
I was
hoping
for
today's episode. Right, can we have a bit quiet, please, in the corner? For today's episode, we are going back to that memorable season of 2011-12.
So you lied.
And we're going back. And we're going back to the. Sorry?
So you lied earlier on when you said between 2020
I said between 2000 and 2023, Mike, didn't I? I couldn't figure out why you were going.
I'll be honest, Bruce. Very rarely do I actually listen to you, and this was one of those.
That's fair point.
I thought
enough.
You said 2020 and 2023.
No, we're going back to 2011-12, okay? And we're going back to the second game of that season. Can you guess? It was an away game. And it didn't go very well.
I know where. Yeah, well, I know where we're going.
This is where we're going,
Jesus
right?
Christ.
This is where we're going.
Thanks.
I want you to name me the players, including the substitutes that came on. I'm not interested in non-playing substitutes in this game, right?
Oh, that's good.
And we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going until we've got them all. I'm not messing about because last week.
Are we allowed to pick Braintree players?
No. I just want Town players.
That's right. I'm going to go
youngest to oldest. So, Sam, you can go first with your first player that was in this game for Town that played. There were 3 subs all brought on.
Liam Hearn.
Liam Hearn is correct. I can't believe Liam Hearn played in a 5-0 defeat. Right, yes. Who's the oldest out of you two? I'm going to go Mike next.
I'm younger by considerable distance.
by about 15 years looking at the back of Alex's head.
No, not having that.
Not kind. He's got feelings, you know. Right, yes, Mike.
Follicles.
I'm going to go for Kenny Arthur, and I think that's a terrible thing to say.
No, I think he was only here for the first season. No, that's wrong. Alex?
We interviewed this guy, and he talked about it. James McEwen.
Yes, correct. Sam?
Fucking arsehole.
This team is a high-quality Grimsby Town lineup.
Craig Disley.
Yes, correct. Well done, Sam. Mike?
Oh, don't put names in the chat, because then people can read them.
Yeah, don't look at that. Don't look at that.
Right,
no
I'm going to ban Joanna for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Right. But you're going to use one of her answers for a start.
I couldn't read.
This is 12 years ago. We're not going too far back. I'll be honest. Some of these aren't town legends for the right reasons, Mike.
I'm really sure. I'm going to say Lee Ridley. I'm really sure.
Correct. Well done.
Was he still here by then? I thought he'd gone.
I have no idea. I'm throwing names, mate.
Right. Alex?
Bet365's favourite person, Bradley Wood.
Bradley Wood did play. Yes, well done. Samuel?
Anthony Elding.
Anthony Elding, good shout. He got substituted. Mike?
I've got 2 left.
We've got 2 defenders.
I can only name 2 other players, I think.
Ian Miller.
No.
Fuck's sake.
Alex?
Serge Makofo.
Serge Makofo, also substituted in that game. Sam?
I know.
Sean Pearson.
Well done, yes. Sam, you're doing really well here. I'm very impressed. Alex, you haven't got any wrong yet, have you?
Not yet.
Well, Mike, have you got one right? One right, was it?
So I'm winning by default if there's a tie.
Oh, we're not finishing the pod with the arguing again. You cheated and you lost.
What year was he here? Is it the year that Charlie Ianson played for us?
I like how serious you're taking this, Mike. And for that, you get a tick. That's a correct answer. Well done. It's a good answer as well. Right, we've got 3 substitutes left and 1 player that started.
The only person I can think of is a non-playing substitute. I don't think he came.
Oh no, 2 that started. Sorry, we've got 2 that started and 3 substitutes to get.
Who was the player that Cod Almighty used to love? I don't know if he played though. Andy Thanodge.
No. Right, if you get a couple more wrong, I'll start giving out clues. Sam?
Rob Duffy.
I've got a guess.
Rob Duffy came on as a sub for Anthony Elding. Well done. Are you cheating? Or you just? I don't like to put that. I don't like to accuse you of that. But are you? Are you playing fairly?
It's just that. So
no, he's not playing fairly.
I think I've got one.
I was 11, and I was 11, and that's the age when your brain's absorbent, and I can remember.
Brilliant. Okay.
All kinds of
that is disgusting.
Thanks, Mike.
I think left wing Frankie Artis.
Yes.
Replacing that team.
Right, there's 2 substitutes left. I think you might struggle. Do you want clues yet?
I've got 1.
Okay, let's keep going then. Who's next? Mike?
Damien Spencer.
How have you got that? Where have you pulled that from?
He was, and fucking shit.
Right, he's got feelings as well, you know, and family. Right,
he's not listening to this.
So we've got. Now. So are we still missing 2 starters, Bruce?
I've got 1 substitute. 1 substitute who usually around this time I would say did start, and we've got 1. We've got 1 defender to find and 1 forward, effectively.
Who's the centre half? Who was the centre half? No. Oh,
I'm done.
What was he called? He scored at Lincoln on Boxing Day when we won that season. Scott Garner.
No. Mike, any idea? You got any left?
I've got 2 outside shouts. I don't know which to go for. Is this the 2nd season in the National League?
Yes.
Richard Hope. Darren Kempson. Richard Hope.
Oh, he's Googled it. He's got it. Well done, Mike.
What? Richard Hope?
Darren Kempson. Right, there's 1 player.
Oh, good. That wasn't my guess.
One player. And he was a player that was left over from the Football League side.
Michael Coulson.
Correct. Well done.
Oh,
You've
good
done it,
shout.
boys.
I should have had that.
Can I say, I was going between Darren Kempton and Richard Hope. I actually said Richard Hope, but I'll take the
Rob
fact
Eagle. Did Rob Eagle play?
From the halfway line? No, not in that game.
He scored from the halfway line at Histon one afternoon. I remember it.
Right,
Can I not have an extra point for saying Aswad Thomas?
He didn't play.
He did for Braintree.
Sorry,
I think this is. I think we've done the last 10 minutes of bollocks and shit. So I think maybe it's time to go.
What receipts are? What did you buy?
The fact 3 of my 5 favourite Grimsby Town players of all time started that game is truly.
Oh, look at that! It's a receipt for. Sorry, Sam. Go on.
The fact that 3 of my 5 favourite players that ever started in that game tells its own story, doesn't it? About how bad.
Joanna, yes, you are allowed to play. I know it's not Joanna, but you know.
I did feel sorry for you, Sam, this morning when I was talking about championship games, and you were, bless you. It's a receipt from Blundell Park night. Look, for some socks and shorts for the kids' kit.
He won't recognise that. He hasn't been for 15 years.
Oh, there he is.
Right. Alex, are we going to have a manager by the next pod? We are, aren't we?
That's more interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Sam,
Mike?
I think we will do. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you everyone who's bought a print as well. There's too many. I have to buy some more ink. It's currently 25% off until the end of the week. What's up?
Where's mine?
You got to tell me a price because you basically just said I want all of them.
Oh, I said I was going to buy them, and you went, "Oh, just send me over, mates rates." And I sent you, and you're like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, it's like all of them.
I do like the Floodlight one.
Can I save myself postage then, and order some, and you bring them to Oxford?
Yeah,
just pay petrol, be fine.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point.
Will they come in a hardbacked envelope at Oxford?
They can do. I've got that's the problem. I've got all of that shit down here.
They've got the pub safe, haven't they, Sam?
Well, they're going to have to stay in the car, aren't they? At least at MK Dons, it stays in the, it's a soulless dome, so there's car parking there, isn't there?
Actually, are you coming on Saturday, Bruce? You're going to Oxford?
Oh.
I could possibly be at both games. I could be at one game, or I could be at neither. But
that's insightful as usual, mate.
I like to chat shit.
So, are you saying if we get a new manager tomorrow, you'll come to Milton Keynes? Is that you?
Milton Keynes is a good one, isn't it? Because you could effectively leave at like 3 o'clock and still go to the game, couldn't you?
Is anyone?
It's not Tuesday night. Doesn't take up the family time, does it? It's not family time, but that stuff that Mike talks about.
And yeah,
going to be
basically after work, the kids go to bed a few hours after work, don't they? So you don't miss a lot at home if you go to a Tuesday game.
That's true. I'm gonna have to see if I can move my diary about. I want to go. It's not. Do you know what? It's an unloved stadium, and it shouldn't be because it's hosted by.
It's got padded seats, hasn't it? The seats are comfy.
Yeah. Anyone got a name for the podcast apart from Absorbent Brain?
The waiting goes on. The waiting game.
The waiting game.
Someone the one where Alex loses it.
I didn't lose it, did I? Probably. Right. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep together, keep strong, and we'll be fine. Just think, all this misery is good for content, and that's all we care about on the podcast. So it's much appreciated. See you all next week with David Artell, Steve Morrison, or Danny Cowley as manager. Delete as applicable, I guess, or Paul Hurst.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be on a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. They got a penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight like that.